Okay, so on this question, we have Cindy, Jamal, Monique, and Ryan are dividing a piece of land using the lone divider method. The values of the 4 pieces of land in the eyes of each player are shown below. Okay, so basically if you have, so this problem has percentages, notice. So this is a little different than some other questions in which we'll have money. Sometimes they give us dollar amounts. This one's giving us percentages, notice. So if you have 4 people, which is what we have here, right? 4 people. What is a fair share to 4 people? What would be a fair share percentage-wise?
25%.
Yeah, because you got to take 100%, which is the total, right? Again, this is not money. It's just percentages. So the whole amount would just be 100%. Divided by 4 people would equal what? 25% each is fair. 25% or more, they would feel they got a fair share. Does that make sense? If you were dividing stuff up, you were among 4 people, you're in a group of 4, as long as they gave you a piece of land that was 25% or more, you'd feel like, oh, I got a fair share. That's a fair amount, right? All right, so this question is asking us, actually, first off, it's saying who is the divider? Who is the divider? Okay, notice up here it said they're using the lone divider method. Okay, that's the first. We're going to get several different methods for dividing things fairly. This is our first one. What is the lone divider method? Let me show you. Have you ever experienced this before? Maybe being a dad, I've experienced it. I've had, my youngest 2 kids that are still left in the house. Sometimes there'd be like an extra cookie or something after a party or whatever. It's on the counter, right? Both the kids go over there. They want it, right? My 2 youngest, Johnny and Abby, but more like 10 years ago when they were younger. They want the cookie. They go over there, and I hear all this, I said, okay, just cut the cookie. You guys can have it. You split it. Well, then there's he didn't split it fair, or all this arguing and this kind of stuff. Did you know the great method, it's kind of generally known, for dividing something with 2 people so that they both feel they got a fair shake, even if they're not wanting to be fair to their little sibling? It's called the lone divider method, it's also called divider chooser. Divider chooser or lone divider. Here's what you do. Let me draw, if I can draw a cookie here. Okay, that'll be a cookie. All right, so what you do is you tell one person to be the divider. Pick whoever. So I would a lot of times pick the older, my son John. I would say, okay, John, you're the divider. You cut the cookie however you want to cut it. And your sister, Abby, she'll be the chooser. Do you get it? Can you picture what happens to Johnny now? He grabs the knife. He goes, all right, I'm the divider. Here I go. He grabs that knife. He starts cutting, kind of going down the middle. Then he starts going a little bit to the side. And Abby's not nervous at this point. Her eyes get big, because she realizes if Johnny does something like that, if that's the cut, remember, Johnny cuts, Abby picks first. So if Johnny makes that cut, Abby's going to go, okay, I'll take this part, Johnny. Thank you very much. And Johnny realizes that, of course, right? Whoops, I just hit the wrong button. There we go. So Abby realizes that, of course. And Johnny realizes that. So here's what Johnny does instead. As soon as he starts getting off and Abby's eyes get big, he goes, oh no, oh my goodness. And he's coming back. He's like a surgeon all of a sudden. He's so careful with that knife because he wants to make it fair, because he realizes he gets last pick. He is motivated, you see, to make it fair. So he's like a surgeon trying to come back really even because he knows Abby gets the first pick. So that's a pretty good thought, isn't it? It's called the divider chooser. One divides, the other one chooses, or lone divider. One person's a divider. Well, it's real obvious with 2 people. It's real easy, right? There's no conflict. You cut, you pick. The cutter will be forced to be honest, won't he? See how that works? So that's what they're doing with this piece of land. They're saying, all right, lone divider, meaning like lone ranger, just one person. One person divides up the land into 4 pieces. This is 4 pieces. So maybe the person will go like this, you know, and they'll do some other. There we go, 4 pieces. Let's say that's the land. It's an island. It's a round island. And they're breaking up the land into 4 pieces. Piece number 1, 2, 3, and 4, you know? And one person does the dividing. That's what we mean by lone divider. Now, think about that person that's doing the dividing. Are they going to try to be unfair? They're going to try to be the fairest they can because they know they get last pick. The cutter always gets last pick. So they want to make all 4 sections completely even, right? At least in their eyes, because they know they get last pick. Is that making sense? The divider, lone divider, means divider gets last pick. So therefore, the divider will make everything fair. Let me erase this over here and show you what I'm talking about. The divider is going to be highly motivated to make everything extremely fair. So that was kind of a crazy erase. There we go. So the divider gets last pick. So the divider will make all sections the same, at least in his or her eyes. Remember, everybody values things differently. So maybe this piece of land has like a lake. Maybe this is a giant, you know, land developers are breaking up a huge piece of land. And maybe there's a nice lake on this one. So, or maybe the small one has a nice lake. And this other one has, you know, green grass. This has some hills, whatever. And different developers want the lake or don't want the lake or want this or whatever people like. So, you know, they're not all the same. So different people are going to value different pieces of the land differently, right? Well, the divider, being the one who cuts it up into 4 pieces and therefore gets last pick. You can see my writing up there. Last pick. Therefore, that person's going to make them all the same in his eyes, his or her eyes, right? Because everybody values things differently. But he's going to make sure they're all 4 the same in his eyes because he gets last pick. So therefore, look for a second up here. They're asking us, which one was the divider? Look what Cindy thinks piece number 1 is worth 32%. She thinks piece number 2 is 17, piece number 3, piece number 4. That's what she thinks. That's how she values the various pieces of land. Jamal thinks 24, 19, blah, blah. Monique thinks 25, 25, 25, 25. Ryan thinks whatever he thinks. So which one is the one who clearly made the cuts? Yeah, Monique is the one who has them all the same. She must have been the divider. See how we can tell that? So she's the one who made it all. Was there a question? Go ahead. Yeah.
So what we're saying is that if one person has all the same, that would be the identifier that.
Exactly. The divider is the one who makes them all the same. Exactly. We good on that? Because the divider knows they get last pick. So they don't want to make anything unequal in their eyes. They'll get stuck with it, they're afraid, right? So we know Monique was the divider. So I'll just put a little D over here. Good. So Monique's the divider. That means, and now the rest of the people, they get to choose their piece. So assuming that everybody's honest, meaning honestly giving what they think of the pieces of land, which pieces should be in Cindy's declaration? Now, what does that mean, Cindy's declaration? She declares whatever Cindy thinks are fair pieces. So which ones would Cindy think? Let's go up to Cindy. Where's Cindy? She thinks 32, 17, 21, 30. So what's fair again? Fair is how much in this problem? 25% or more, right? Because there's 4 people, 100 divided by 4. You always take the total divided by 4. So 100% divided by 4. So which ones would Cindy like? 1 and 4. So we're going to click both those boxes. 1 and 4, because both those are over 25%. So Cindy would be happy with pieces 1 or 4. She would think those are fair on that. And that's the entire problem. There we go.